Hey ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? This is Aaron Elton. I'm giving this little video about what's going on in Uganda in terms of personal health care. I find Uganda to be a very unique country in the world, not only because of its geopolitical situation and how it's a landlocked country with two massive mountain ranges and its own sort of microclimate with its own air systems essentially and its own climate. But beyond that, we also have an incredible reach of healthy foods and natural products. And the natural products industries here are just starting to pick up, just starting to get some legs. As you know, many people across Africa use and go to traditional healers and use traditional medicine. I think it's well over 80%. I am not a doctor. All of my opinions are my own, so take them with a grain of salt, do your own research. I have been somewhat focused on herbal remedies and different types of natural superfoods for the last 10 years of my life. However, as I've been developing a sustainable farming community methodology and system that I believe can not only reforest and regenerate damaged landscapes, but also the communities who are dealing with these damaged landscapes and ending up in these scenarios where we see sort of the city economies and the city metabolism essentially stripping nature for raw materials like charcoal and firewood, but also for staple foods like maize and milk and beef, which are being cultivated in methods which are obviously damaging to the environments around them in many cases. I'm not talking about all cattle farms, I'm not talking about all maize farms. But what we are seeing is when you talk about 86% of population being in subsistence farming in a country like Uganda, you do see that the vast majority of those farms are actually losing soil fertility over time, quote unquote, becoming tired, which means the soils are essentially having their nutrients removed. So once we've cleared the forests of those areas and essentially decimated the biodiversity, which creates healthy soils, we then start to mine those minerals and strip those minerals out in order to feed city metabolisms. And just by nature of being humans in an industrialized society over the last several thousand years of developing our capacities as a species, a lot of those nutrients are lost down the toilet and into lakes and rivers and into the ocean. And so permaculture, as a permaculture practitioner, and the design science of sustainability deals largely with soil fertility in the process of actually bringing back natural systems which replicate those forest ecologies. Because a forest ecology essentially on land, and we are talking strictly land-based ecologies, okay? We're not talking about oceans and lakes and so on right now, although they're connected. But on land, the forest ecologies represent roughly 80% of the world's genetic material. And this is obviously the vast majority. And those, unfortunately, are being stripped. So just to give you an example, so in Uganda, in 1995, you had approximately 24% of the nation surface area was still original forests. Okay, we're talking high canopy jungles. We're talking about the 7 basic layers. And then, of course, you can go in and, depending on your opinion, you can put in dozens of other layers if you want. And now, standing today, just a decade and a bit later, 2020, we're essentially looking at under 8%. Okay, so we've gone from 24% in 1995 down to 8% forest cover. And so what you're seeing in countries like Uganda, which is a very common scenario across East Africa and many developing countries, is you're seeing a total loss in certain areas where things like fuel wood and charcoal and maize and all these staple products are being produced. So why am I front loading this video like that? Well, it's very important for you to understand the background with which I'm working and why I'm talking as an individual who's been advocating for reforestation. People think, oh, you're a tree hugger. Fine. I'm not necessarily a tree hugger, but I'm more of a realist. And I actually look at this with a sense of, from the perspective of criminology and also from the perspective of anthropology and humanitarianism, is that if there are means to replenish those forests while maintaining food supplies, what you discover is that we should be doing that, and that it is criminal not to, in my mind. Okay, these are, like I said, these are my opinions. Now, along the line of this thinking, where I started, 12, 13 years ago, I started realizing these problems, and I started really protractedly, looking at this issue and proactively thinking about it. I started realizing, and through permaculture, I really realized that not only can we replenish the forests and maintain the biodiversity across civilization, but we can actually increase the amount of nutrients and the amount of food production that's coming out. Now, the problem with a lot of people when they talk about this is you get this sort of black and white perspective, which is very unfortunate because a lot of people like to draw lines in the sand and say, well, you need chemical agriculture and you need GMOs and all this stuff. And other people say, you don't need any of it. And we absolutely have to stop mechanized, this spraying and all this stuff and all these chemicals. And in my mind, there is a middle ground in which certain specific areas can be cultivated in mechanized and GMO processes, and we can focus in those areas a very extreme level of production. And therefore, those areas also get things like dredged swamp, or not swamp, but like lake soils and sediment and fertilizers back from the ocean. So returning as much nutrients as possible into those industrialized systems and keep those industrial systems healthy, and also focus the strategies and the mitigations and the science on making sure that the chemicals that are being used, the GMO practices that are being used, and the production that is being used, and the post-harvest handling that is being undertaken is safe. And that's possible. It is very possible to have safe agricultural production using chemicals if those chemicals are regulated and used in the right way. And also, post-harvest handling is also undertaken to remove whatever residues might be there, and that those residues are therefore blah, 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 becoming not so impactful on the environment while maintaining very high levels of food production. Now, when you look at what I'm doing with Priceless Farms, with Joe Goodwin and Tim Reynolds and other people who've been like my parents and my family members who have been supporting us to do this, is we've created a model where we're actually proving that permaculture can work on a large scale with the rural villagers context. Okay, so a lot of these people that are working on our farm right now, we currently have 14 families. We've gone through we've gone through a lot of problems. Okay, we've faced everything from droughts to floods to poachers, all kinds of stuff. And we now have 14 families who are living and working in unison. They have food security, they have water access, they have jobs, they have housing. And before we came, really technically, they were destitute. And they were destitute because there was no more jungle there. The hunter-gatherer society has basically been depleted in this district, and there's only a few hunters left because there's no more game to hunt. So because there's no more game to hunt, obviously people have transitioned into agrarian culture, and this has been going on for thousands of years all over the world in different contexts. And of course now, we're ending up with this situation where these ecologies and these territories in rural African villages are becoming more and more further away from the biodiverse heritage that they had, and they're becoming depleted. And this is where you see true poverty start to take effect. Whereby people are completely at the whim of nature in terms of the climate fluctuations that are taking place. When you have a forest and there's a drought, quite frankly, your village, and I'm talking small villages, small families, small family units spread around large areas. When the predominant nature of your environment is a forested area, especially in countries like Uganda, where you have, between 40 to 60% of the plants in your immediate environment are edible. You see that droughts are essentially not a big deal to people who have forests. And we've proven this now with the Priceless Farms model. And one of the main reasons why I am so absolutely invigorated by the career path that I chose to go down this path and promote forested landscapes and to promote biodiversity as a form of mitigating human suffering when you whittle it all down, is because of the plethora and the absolute incredible powers that are in the nutritional qualities of these plants. And there's so many medicinal plants in Africa, excuse me, and in Uganda in particular, with one of the best biodiversities spectrums, I think, in the world, that it's seemingly unending. The amount of research that needs to be done on this is really big. I mean, we're talking we could have another 100 years of research into all the different plants and all the different chemicals and all the different aspects of what these plants can do for different diseases and different people's health. you would have a very exhaustive time trying to explore all of what the plant kingdom has to offer, let alone what that plant kingdom supports in the form of insects and lizards and bugs and all these things that are really undermined in our current age of development as a species on Earth. So that's basically the front end of the video. I just wanted to give you a bit of background. Obviously, a lot of my videos talk about this because this is my career, this is my passion, this is what I love to express to the world, and I hope that you're finding some value in this. If not, go switch to whatever you want to, TikTok about. But this is really important stuff to me because, and also I want to express in this video to my friends and family and to everybody who's out there that living in Uganda and having a permaculture farm spread across about 100+ acres of land with unlimited water access to the Nile River, I live a very secure life. And even with the COVID-19 thing coming up and everybody freaking out about this, I understand, and it's completely understandable to have some level of fear, particularly if you're an elderly person or if you have an underlying health condition. But in Uganda, we have a lot of access to nutritional and herbal remedies that can help mitigate the different things that come up with flu-like symptoms and with colds, and really there's an answer for almost every single disease here in the herbal kingdom. And unfortunately, it's very under-researched, okay? You do have a large, obviously, pharmaceutical industry around the world, which actively has been proven to try to downplay natural remedies and cheap remedies and backyard remedies, garden remedies, we'd like to also call them. And that's very unfortunate. But I do see there's a shift taking place there. You do obviously have a lot of herbalists around the world who are advocating their research and proving through scientific rigor, the same scientific rigor that the pharmaceutical industries have, that these chemical compounds located within plants can be utilized in specific ways to target specific problems and ailments and either cure or mitigate the damaging impact that various diseases have on our bodies. And so to me, this is a whole new world personally, and it's invigorating, and it's something that I really want to encourage more people to get into. I think a lot of young people who are out there looking for a career path, I urge you, and I strongly urge you, look into what I like to broadly call earth repair sciences, okay? Earth repair sciences encompasses a huge range of disciplines, everywhere from soil science, desert reclamation, tree science, silviculture, all these things, aquaculture. And then you get into the human side. How do you apply all of these products to nature? You've got different technologies, etc., etc. I mean, my mind, whenever I'm feeling like I have a moment where I have, nothing to do, which is happening a lot now because we're trying to stay inside as much as we can, my mind is completely full of all these visions of a future where humanity has picked up and all these young people have gotten involved into clean, sustainable, and earth-friendly, human-friendly technologies and business models, which will actively transition us towards a truly healthy society and something that's actually balanced. And this is what you see when you start to shift from the detrimental forms of agriculture, which is the fundamental system of society that develops and maintains people's livelihoods, from a degradational, I'm fumbling with my words, but you get what I'm saying, something which is destroying soil, something which is destroying nature, and you start to transition out of it with a business model. Okay, take a look at Priceless Farms and dozens and dozens and dozens of other companies around the world that are doing this. And beyond staple foods, you add in herbal medicines, and you add in value addition in the form of different products like capsules, teas, balms, salves, hair oil. This is what I'm going to get to in this video. I would call it part 2. We're entering part 2 now. I have just a tiny, very few products here in front of me that I'm going to show you, which to me make me feel very comfortable, even when there's a deadly virus traveling around the world infecting everybody. Okay, and so I'm just going to jump into that now. And again, before I really talk about these products, what I am talking about is a lot of the products that I'm going to show you, there's anecdotal research. There is obviously hard evidence-based research out there as well. So go out, go online, do your own research in any of them. For moringa alone, there's over 3,000. Apparently, there's over 3,000 actual research projects that have taken place to try to explain all the different impacts that moringa is having. And there's more coming out every month, which is great. I'll get to moringa in a minute, but I've got some other ones because I talk about moringa too much. But I've got some other ones here. So zinc is apparently one of the things that people are after. So when we're talking about health, and we're talking about resiliency to disease, and we're talking about herbals and superfoods, what we're talking about is supporting the body to work in its optimal capacity, okay? And this means your immunity and your immune system is functioning well. If not well, very well. And this is what we really want to do for people by supplying truly organic products that are handled and processed very ethically and being grown from communities that are putting love into their land, okay? Love on land. You are going to get a product that is going to support a healthy lifestyle one way or another, because otherwise we wouldn't produce it, and we wouldn't talk about it, and we wouldn't make videos about it, and we wouldn't ask people days and days later, how are you feeling? And we wouldn't get the stories that we do get, and we get crazy good stories. I've seen people who were basically blind, and they can now see clearly because they went on to moringa. People who've been suffering from ulcers for 10 years, horrible ulcers, and none of the other medications are working. Within 3 to 5 days, they come back and they say, I need a lifetime supply of this stuff. My ulcers are gone. From 1 teaspoon a day. So this is what we call anecdotal data. Okay, these are people's accounts, people's stories. Now, when you take 10,000 people who have ulcers and you put them on a placebo in a double-blind study, and you get an efficacy of, let's say, 50% or more who were on the moringa saying, my ulcers are gone within 5 days. Now you can start to say, okay, you know what? That is a really high potential that is going to work for you. And now you can start to make claims. Not making any claims, but what is true is that things like pumpkin seeds, which are readily available to everybody. This little bag of pumpkin seeds, this is not something you're going to see in North America. The closest thing you're going to see like this in North America is spits, and those are, you know, salty sunflower seeds. I believe that the nutritional qualities of pumpkin seeds are absolutely amazing. I'm just going to give you a couple of the big ones, okay? So zinc has been promoted as one of the things to help, you know, fight back and maintain a healthy, fight back viruses in particular, and maintain a healthy immune system. So check this out. So in 100 grams, now this is not 100 grams, this is probably like 50 grams, okay? This is like a small handful of seeds. You can see it there. In 100 grams, you have 7.99, which is essentially 8 milligrams of zinc, okay? That is a bioavailable zinc. And the beauty about these natural products as well, and one of the things that we really like to make sure people understand, is that when you take nutrients from plants, your body has a much easier time than from synthetic pills, etc., okay? And that just makes a lot of sense, okay? Our bodies have been consuming things like pumpkin seeds and leaves and all types of things from nature for, well, since we started evolution, essentially, from wherever we came from. And so you have 8 milligrams of zinc. That is a lot of zinc. Okay, if I'm eating like just this handful, I'm going to get, if this is 50 grams, I'm going to get 4 milligrams of zinc. That's huge. These are micronutrients. You don't need a lot of them for your body to utilize them and have an effect. So this is widely sold across the entire country. There's not one, I haven't seen, one gas station or shop that you can go into in this country that does not sell these lightly toasted, slightly salted, and some of them are unsalted, pumpkin seeds. And this is probably, I can't remember how much I bought this for, but I probably bought this for about 10 to 20 cents at the supermarket, at the retail level. Highly affordable nutrient. You've got 9.76 milligrams of iron, and get this, the calcium content is off the hook. 78 milligrams of calcium. Now we go to magnesium. Magnesium goes even higher. 90 milligrams. These are not micrograms. We're talking milligrams. And you've got your sodium already in the seed is about 20 milligrams, okay? Awesome product. So many people are eating this. It's being promoted throughout the social internet here. And people are eating these things along with Sim and so many other seeds. So this is just an example of one of the healthy seeds that's widely available to Ugandans in a country like Uganda, and it's very, very affordable. You can eat this every day. You put it in your kid's school pack. They're getting those nutrients from a natural source. Another product that's being produced here, Malaika Honey is producing this product right here. I'm going to try to get nice and close here, try to get the focus right. Malaika Honey is a social enterprise which promotes and actively goes to rural locations, and I'm talking rural locations, very far away and also near, wherever people have bees, okay? And they train people in the best practices of beekeeping. They've even gone so far as to write a manual on Ugandan beekeeping. It's like the Bible of Ugandan beekeeping. This is propolis, okay? So bees produce more than just honey, for those of you who don't know. They produce beeswax, and they also produce a substance called propolis. In the hive, propolis looks like a black tar, okay? But it is one of nature's most powerful antiviral and antibacterial substances, and the bees actually produce this specifically to protect the queen and the hive from pathogens in and around their environment. So they use it to patch holes in their hive, and they use it to fend off diseases. Now you take that to a company like Malaika, who processes it down with an alcohol base, and you get a drip tincture, okay? Now this will last me personally like a month to 2 months, okay? And this is, I believe retail, I'm getting this for about $1.20. If you were to buy this same tincture in Canada, you're looking at $15 to $25. It is a very powerful product. You put it in water and you drink it, and this goes into your body, and it has all kinds of wonderful effects. I'll just quickly read this. Malaika propolis tincture has antiseptic, antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties. It may be used by everyone, sick or healthy, to protect against microorganisms, colds and flu, inflammations, stomach ulcers, liver, kidney swelling. Add 15 drops to 1 cup of water, or a quarter cup of water, and drink twice a day, 1 hour before eating. Gargle mixture for throat infections and mouth ulcers, cuts and wounds, burns, scabies, fungal skin infections, toothaches. Applied directly to the infected area. Propolis is a non-toxic and has no harmful side effects. If you feel nausea or develop a rash, discontinue use. Contains ethanol, active ingredient propolis. Store normal and in dry conditions. So I take this with me everywhere I go. And you know what's really unique about this product is when you have a cut, I don't know if I have any on my hand right now. I do have an old one here. But when you have a cut, you just put a little bit on like this, okay? And if your hands are clean, you spread it around, and it literally disinfects your wound, and then it actually creates a film, like this Second Skin product. You know, this clear spray-on Band-Aid. This is nature's spray-on Band-Aid, and I'm telling you guys, this stuff works like crazy. You can have really bad wounds, and often in rural places, you can see it's a little bit sticky. There's a film there. I don't know how well it's picking it up, but this is one of the best wound care systems out there, and I can just put it directly under my tongue. It's quite strong. That's why they suggest to put it in water. It has a little bit of a waxy substance to it, but you can just feel it's coating the entire inside of your mouth. And for ulcers and different things like that, even open wounds, this is an incredible product. So this is widely available. If you have beehives, you can actually collect it and make it yourself. You can even chew on the propolis. But this is another product that is locally available, highly affordable, and in Uganda for Ugandans to be using to fight back viruses and diseases and maintain a healthy body. Moving on, there's another company here. It's called Prof Biosciences. Here's their logo. This is Prof Biosciences. Now these guys are locally quite famous in their own regards with respect to herbal and natural products. They specialize in oils and different types of powders and different types of extracts, okay? And they have a list of, I think, around 200 products or more, which is incredible. It's a young group of scientists. They banded together under one guy's vision. His name is Julius. His products are sold in the city here. Every time you go to their shop in the early morning, you find people lining up around the corner in this mall just to get access to these guys' products. Now, this is a very large bottle of eucalyptus oil, and you can see they have a generic tag where they write it on, and it's kind of come undone. But I bought this in the early stages before the lockdown came into effect. I called up Julius because I know him, and I said, Julius, I need to stock up on some of your products. Give me the eucalyptus oil, give me the tea tree oil, and give me the lemon eucalyptus oil. And then he also started talking about another product, which I'll get to next. So let me refocus here. Focus up, focus up, focus up. There we go. So eucalyptus oil, incredible product. If you put it in a diffuser, obviously it's giving a good scent to your room, and there's a lot of different information on the web about all the different health benefits, which I won't get into too much. But people do claim that it has, you know, antiviral capacity and so on, and antibacterial effects. It's very good for skincare as well, eczema and all these other things. There's a lot of people out there saying it's really good for your skin. I like using it in my hair, to be perfectly honest, because if you dribble this out, remember this is a huge bottle. I got this bottle for about $10. In North America, if you were to buy, I think this is 100 milliliters. If you were to buy 100 milliliters, just look it up, 100 milliliters, or even look up 20 milliliters of pure organic eucalyptus oil. Okay, I'm just going to put that on. And that is going to go in, and it's kind of giving you this sort of nice herbal effect. Okay, I'm not going to go into the actual details of it because you need to research it yourself. The reason I bought this was because if my family came down with COVID, which is, you know, going to have all kinds of problems with the lungs, I would be doing a steam treatment with this. Okay, inhaling steam with this eucalyptus oil to open up and clarify the whole system and help flush out all different types of stuff. So that's why I bought it, okay? And I feel very comfortable using that because I've used it before when I've had colds and flu, and it's very effective for helping you to breathe better and ease the suffering of what's going on in your lungs. So I've got that as well, and everybody has access to this in the country. Now, the same company has this other product, and this is called Thieves Oil. I don't know if you can see this too well. Thieves Oil, okay? So Thieves Oil, again, this is a new product to me. This was very unique. And when I was talking to Julius about it, he said, you know, this is what they used to use to treat the bubonic plague, or the plagues in Europe. It's a mixture of different oils. I'll just quickly bring it up here if I've got it. It's a mixture of multiple different oils. It's got lavender, it's got lemon. Let me just quickly see here. So it's got clove bud oil, it's got lemon essential oil, cinnamon bark essential oil. These are all essential oils. It's a mixture of that. And it's got eucalyptus essential oil and rosemary essential oil. Now, in a very extreme way, this one is actually suggesting you put 5 drops into essentially a hot water, and you drink that twice a day. I don't know about that. Honestly, that's pretty crazy. I mean, these are really powerful oils in here. You open it up and it smells like, I don't know, maybe Santa Claus's closet or something, or his. It smells like you're inside a, you know, gingerbread house, or like a gingerbread village explosion. Like if you were to walk into a gingerbread village that just exploded. It's incredible. It's a really nice smell. It's, you know, it's got the orange, it's got the clove, it's got the cinnamon, it's got the eucalyptus. You just try to picture it yourself. Pick up a bottle if you can. Do your own research on it. All of those oils have very beneficial health benefits. And it can go into a diffuser, but you can also drink it apparently. But I haven't brought myself to drink it yet. I'm scared of drinking this. Maybe if I had the plague, you know, and I had a few other people tell me, hey, drink Thieves Oil, maybe I would do it. But I got a couple bottles of these anyways, just because I love the smell. And I love, you know, what it does when I put it in the diffuser for our house. Okay, last but not least, obviously we have moringa powder. And this is something that Priceless Farms is focused on right now, albeit it's the beginning of a long line of herbal products that we're going to be producing for general behoof. And moringa powder is like, it's compared to pumpkin seeds, this has like 100 times more nutrients per gram. So, well, that might be an overstatement, but it's chock full. It has over 92 vitamins and minerals, nutritional content in it. A lot of those have anti-inflammatory and antioxidative impacts on the body. So much so that in the Ayurvedic medicine world, where a lot of the early, you know, and where moringa was born from, essentially, in terms of the medical community, it was Ayurvedic medicine, and out of India and Asia, it apparently can cure and or mitigate over 250 known diseases. Now, the reason why I think these things are so effective, again, coming back to what I said earlier, is that you are improving your immune system when you take these things and you put them in your diet, okay? So I personally, I don't watch too much what I eat. I eat pizza, I drink beers, I have French fries and burgers when I go out, you know, but I live a pretty darn healthy life because I do take moringa once a day, and I do tend to look at what I'm eating in terms of snacks. and I mitigate how much processed food that I'm eating. Now, this is again my opinion, but Uganda has one of the lowest infection rates, and that's also because we're having low tests. But now they're going well over 1,000 tests a day, and we're still coming out with 0, 0, 0, negative, negative, negative. We're at 55 cases, no deaths. I believe that people who don't eat a lot of processed foods in general as a population are not going to be impacted as badly as those who do eat a lot of processed foods. Because my theory is that our white blood cells in our immune system is trying to clear and fight off everything that's not supposed to be in our body. And when your food system predominantly has a lot of things that are not supposed to be in your body, that are not doing anything beneficial, and in many cases, if you're not doing something beneficial, it would suffice, it would make sense that if something is just lingering around inside your body that's not supposed to be there, even though it's not doing anything beneficial, it's probably not that good either, or it could be having a very negative effect. And in many cases, these things that are having that negative effect, they're now seeing like, okay, it's leading to cancer, it's leading to degenerative illnesses. And in my mind, the cleaner your blood, the cleaner your body, the cleaner your food supply, the healthier your immune system. And also maybe it's just the fact that your immune system might be the same as somebody who has a dirty diet. But when a disease comes in and starts wreaking havoc, your immune system doesn't need to wade through all this other crap that's in your body in order to target that virus or that bacteria, etc., etc., etc. So anyways, there you go. So I've just showed you some of the products. I just wanted to make this quick video and shout out to everybody out there. As you can see, I've got a lot to say. For any of you who are very interested in this or you want to talk to me about this, I'm always available. My YouTube channel is Aaron Elton, as you know. You can see it there. And yeah, I'm going to make more videos like this. I'm also going to start a YouTube show specifically to focus on these types of discussions, and I'm going to bring professional doctors, professional business personnel, and professional herbalists into a studio setting, and I'm going to discuss all the different products with them. We're going to promote a lot of products. I'm out to promote all of these products. I truly believe that the superfoods industry is something that can bring Uganda into a first world status. We have one of the most organic, in general, organic territories left in the world, one of the cleanest territories left in the world to grow some of the best superfoods in the world. And we've got the climate to produce so much of this. On our farm alone, which is predominantly a moringa farm, we have already cataloged over 60 different African herbs, which are known to local herbalists as having very strong advantages against various different ailments. And we're starting to catalog these with herbalists, and we're starting to reach out to all different types of herbalist groups to be able to then discover what is our next product going to be. We've got chocolate, we've got moringa tea, we've got ginger, we've got bitter leaf, and the big one, which I'm going to talk about another time, is papaya leaf powder pills. They have worked wonders on my digestive system. I've recently run out of them because I consumed them all, and it literally changed my life for the better, along with many of these other products. But the papaya leaf powder coming out is going to be very exciting, and this is a big industry. Ooh, that thieves oil. I was sniffing it, and it was just kind of sitting here. That's the thieves oil. It's like, poof, it's cleaning me out. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. Give me your comments if you want. And yeah, stay positive out there and look to nature. Look to nature and be good to each other. All the best.